Hour radio show with your host, Frank the Bank Cotto, the owner of Lincoln Lending Group right here in Tampa Bay for 23 years. Joined by his incredible co-host, Ksenia, realtor with Mahara and Associates, Tampa's top real estate company. Together, they have helped finance and close nearly $1 billion of real estate every year. If you're looking for local mortgage or real estate advice, the Business Happy Hour team has been right here on News Radio WFLA for over a decade. Listen right here or find us on the Business Happy Hour YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram at Frank the Bank Cotto. Now sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious mortgage, real estate, and business talk with two of Tampa's top experts. Here's Frank the Bank and Ksenia.
All right, Tampa Bay, are you ready for another amazing Business Happy Hour radio show? I know I am because I'm back to school. That's right. I'm not Rodney Dangerfield. I'm Frank the Bank, but I am back to school, driving my kids to school in the mornings, ready to get up earlier. How you doing, Sen?
I'm doing great.
How about you? Kids back yet?
Oh my gosh, back to school, back to the school lines. Yeah. It always takes a little bit for everybody to figure it out, especially like the new parents.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's good.
How about
back
traffic?
to a routine.
How was traffic this morning?
For the school line, not so good.
Not so good. Oh, yeah, because
But
the
the
first
pickup
week.
traffic is even worse. I was stuck in the middle of an intersection, oh my God, people had to go around me, but you don't know what to do. People
Right.
coming from every direction and it's just not moving.
Yes. Thank God. So I dropped my son off at Jesuit, right? So it's high school. So you only have, it's kind of a smaller line. You got a year and a half worth of parents, right? And they're pretty strict on you. They had cops out there this morning. I always pull off on a Himes and I make a left to go get some coffee. And this cop is like, you ain't making a left today, buddy. You're making a right. And I'm like, ooh, they're trying to drill
they
it
get
in.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you're not paying attention, doing what they say,
Oh. They'll blow that whistle at you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you they will. But anyway, so I have noticed traffic on the streets getting a little worse. Parents taking their kids. So if you don't have kids to go to school, my advice: avoid the roads between 7 and 8:30 is probably the best advice you can have. Leave early or just avoid them altogether. But I don't know about you. I'm happy to be back into the groove. Having a schedule and this is what time we get up, this is what time we get back. Here's the hardest thing, and we've got a great guest I'm going to introduce here in a second, but the hardest thing for me is shutting down in the evening. So it's almost like people will give you advice about we'll get up earlier and go to bed earlier and things like that, but it doesn't seem to me like the getting up earlier really changes what time my body wants to shut down, right? Yep. Right. So we had Illy, who comes on the show, the owner of X-Force Body, and she'll be on the show again next month. But she was telling me this morning, she's like, oh, yeah, I'm around my third meal today. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, I've been up since 4:15. And I'm like, well, what time do you go to bed? She's like, 8:30. I mean, I see BettyAnn looking at me. Let me introduce BettyAnn so she can chime in on this. This is BettyAnn McCloud, proud branch manager with Lincoln Lending Group. This person, BettyAnn here, has more experience than Frank the Bank. Okay, I'm sorry I'm dating you. I have no choice. I'm not going to tell him how old you are, but let's put it this way. You've been in the industry 10 years longer than I have. She made fun of me in the elevator today. She goes, yeah, I was doing mortgages when you were trick-or-treating. And I'm like, you're probably right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So welcome to the show, BettyAnn.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
First time on radio?
No, actually I was on the radio probably 30 years ago. I actually had an underwriter that worked for me as a DJ. She was a smooth jazz DJ out in Colorado, and she brought me on her show, and we did a little chat. But that's quite a few years ago. That
was, and I bet your radio was a lot different back then.
Yes.
Everything, there's cameras and TVs and all these fancy majigs and all this stuff. So yeah, I wanted to introduce you so you could chime in to some of our fun little banter we do in the beginning. But this whole thing about going to bed early, 8:30. Okay, let's just go around the room. BettyAnn, what time do you go to bed?
Normally around 11:30.
11:30. Okay, that's about my time. How about you, Ksenia?
Yeah, me too.
About the same,
Yeah.
right? And have you ever tried to go to bed at 8:30 or 9 recently?
I can't. I mean, I'll be lucky if my little one falls asleep by 8:30.
Oh, that's a good
Normally, I'm
point.
still busy with him till 9.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you need to just, catch up on your own stuff.
Yeah.
Do a little relaxing before you want to fall asleep.
Right. A little doom scrolling, something like that. What about you, BettyAnn? Have you ever tried that?
I've tried to go a little bit earlier. Last weekend, 9:30, I tried to tune out, but I have a new puppy at home, so it's not a little one, but it's almost like a newborn.
Yep.
So I've got to stay up to make sure he goes out, and then he gets me up early. So now I'm back in the groove of early.
Oh God, I just don't know how people do it. They're all like, oh yeah, just get up earlier and you'll go to. I was like, no, I just get tired, but I don't fall asleep. Anyway, if you guys have advice and you'd like to let us know here, you're welcome to give us a call. Maybe you're a sleep expert. Maybe you're listening right now, and Ksenia and I need to have you on the show because I don't know how to go to sleep early. But I am trying this new thing because I do like watching Gutfeld at night. I think it's friggin' hilarious. He's the #1 late night guy right now. And I try to force myself to start watching him at 10 o'clock so that like you're kind of getting tired at 10:30. But then you got that thing where the wife doesn't want the TV on, right? And I'm like, well, how am I going to fall asleep? And she's like, well, how am I going to fall asleep? I was like, we have a problem. So anyway, if you're a sleep expert and you want to solve it, give us a call. Come help us out. Let us know. By the way, James, real quick, I don't see my times on the screen right now, so just let me know how we're doing. Okay, good. All right, so if you've never listened to the Business Happy Hour before, Ksenia from Mahara and Associates, one of the top real estate agents in Tampa, is my co-host. She handles all the real estate side and answers the real estate questions and always brings our statistics every week. Matter of fact, Ksenia, we have a longtime listener who has texted us some things. Remember, I sent that to you earlier, so we should chat about that maybe later in the show after we talk to BettyAnn a little bit about some of the insurance things. He was telling us about, I think, when he first bought a house, in the 90s or something like that, and his insurance was like basically pennies, and he paid $17,000. I'm like, we have come a long way.
Way long way.
Way long way since then. And BettyAnn's your first time on the show, so Ksenia does statistics. So we're going to talk about the stats year over year, and I never know coming into the show what she's going to talk about, so it's really exciting. So we'll talk about that and where the real estate market is. Apparently, there's some news that came out yesterday about them lowering rates. Did you see that? Where I think the Fed was saying they're going to lower it 3 times. Is that what we heard now? I don't know about you, but I heard that earlier in the year as well. And
I know Ryan on the last show. I mean, he was doing almost like a guarantee. Hey,
he
so
did.
I'm like, I hope.
He put a September drop the rates guarantee out there.
Looking
Ryan,
like he might be right.
He's going to be carless if he does do that. We made some bets. But I think he's right. And now with the news coming out yesterday, so I think that's exciting. We're going to talk rates a little later in the show. BettyAnn and I are going to talk about some mortgage products. We're going to let Ksenia quiz us on some things and kind of just see what's out there in the market. But before we go too much farther, if you have any real estate needs, if you just want to talk real estate, markets, where to buy, what to buy, maybe you're going to get into the market soon, I want you to give Ksenia from Mahar and Associates a call, and she's going to tell you how to call her.
813-755-REAL.
That's it, 813-755-REAL. Now, last week you also, what'd you give it, a website last week too, didn't you?
Yeah, my website is tamparealestate.pro.
Well, that's easy, Tampa Real Estate.
I think so, yeah.
.pro. That's super easy. And then we're going to be having some more lunch and learns we're going to tell you guys about coming up. BettyAnn, we have a couple events that we want to talk about on the radio show today.
Absolutely.
Do you want to mention the dates right now, and then we'll get back around to it in a minute?
Sure. August 21st, we're doing a lunch and learn on reverse mortgages for purchase. And it's more of a little intimate group where we've invited several realtors, and I think we've got 12 signed up to join, Frank and myself, and our co-host, Allison Lentz with Walinka Weichel Title.
That's going to be, and that is on August 21st. Now, where's that one going to be?
At the office there in Trinity. I don't know the address right off the top of my head.
It's for Walinka Title office?
Yeah, Walinka Weichel Title.
So I tell you what, we will look that up, and when we get back from the
or
break.
reach out to BettyAnn.
She'll
just give it to you directly.
That's a way better way to do it. BettyAnn, how can they reach you? What do you prefer? Email, phone?
Shoot me a text, 704-622-9878, and email's easy, BettyAnn, no E, at lincolnlend.com.
I love it. That's BettyAnn, ANN, no E, at lincolnlend.com or 704-622-9878. And you can always do the contactfrankthebank.com thing, and that will come to me, and then I can give you the information of the event. But like BettyAnn said, it is going to be an intimate gathering, maybe 15 people, something like that. We're going to bring in the room, probably no more than 20. We want to be able to go hands-on and explain how you qualify for a reverse mortgage, what purchase side of a reverse mortgage, the refinance side. And I'll give you a little clue about reverse mortgages. If you own your home right now, free and clear, you are qualified. Right, Betty Ann?
Yes, absolutely.
It's as simple as
100%.
that. Simple as that. Like, no mortgage means you're qualified, but then you're asking yourself, well, wait a minute, I don't have a mortgage. Why do I need a reverse mortgage? Betty Ann, what's a reason they need a reverse mortgage if they don't have a mortgage?
They can keep their cash and invest it and have no mortgage payment. I mean, how great is that?
That's exactly right. You can
What's
put
the age on that, guys? Because
62 for the most part, but there is a proprietary program that will go down to age 55.
okay.
That's it. And actually, we are closing a loan for a gentleman on a $900,000 condo. He lives on the beach. $900,000 condo, and he's getting the proprietary reverse mortgage product. And the guy is putting about $300 and change in cash in his pocket, tax-free, to do whatever he wants with it. Now, Betty Ann mentioned invest it. I happen to know his strategy. He is going to invest some of that money. He's going to probably make 10, 15% on his money, and his rate of interest is like 8-point-something%. So it's kind of a no-brainer. He did own the property free and clear. A lot of people think you can't do them on larger jumbo loans. You can. And if you do own your property free and clear, you want to take cash out of the property tax-free and let it work for you. That's the key of the reverse mortgage. And if you're interested, you can give Betty Ann a call directly. Her number is 704
622-9878.
I love it. We didn't even rehearse this, guys. 704-622-9878. You can reach out to Betty Ann directly or contact frankthebank.com, and we will get you taken care of. And it literally takes just a few hours to figure out what you qualify for on a reverse mortgage. And there's very little cost out of pocket, basically just an appraisal and maybe a counseling session. And that's it. Ksenia, I know I bored you on a reverse mortgage.
Actually, no. I have a client just yesterday. We're
Oh.
working on paying off. Back in 2012, she got a private money loan.
Yeah.
For like $50,000 house back in 2012.
Yep.
Now it's worth a lot more, but we're doing that payoff, and we're going to try to figure out, the best course of action when she's, free and clear.
Well, there you go. Reverse mortgage could be the answer. We'll be back on the Business Happy Hour in just a minute with Ksenia Ksenia from Mahara and Associates, BettyAnn McCloud from Lincoln Lending Group, and Frank the Bank. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a minute with stats. You guys good? How'd that go?
Yeah.
Good? Comfortable?
That was
All right.
great.
Let's
Am I
hop right back
speaking
in.
loud enough?
Yes.
You're good. James, is Betty Ann coming through okay? Okay, perfect. I'm going to turn on her Wi-Fi really quick before her, and then we'll fire. I just realized because you're not as clear as we are.
Okay.
Because you're not on the Wi-Fi.
I can hear it okay.
No.
Oh,
I just meant her. What do you call it? Let me get her on the actual iHeartRadio Wi-Fi. It'll be a lot clearer for her.
I'm so happy you have an iPhone.
Yeah, I
echo
know. For
last
real. I
week.
gotta ask James. Ask James real quick what the password is, please.
What's the password? He'll text it.
Okay. Text it on that group thread. Thank you. Tell him he can fire. I'll be back in 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
He said, go ahead and fire. Yes, I'm going to tell him to hurry up and run.
I think that's my long intro.
You only got 9 seconds.
Oh, shit.
All the best mortgage or real estate advice from Tampa Bay's top experts. It's the Business Happy Hour with Frank the Bank Cotto and Ksenia Ksenia.
All right. Welcome back to the Business Happy Hour, your number one show through all things business and entrepreneurial. Man, I just thought about this. Hopefully all those Jesuit boys start watching us at lunch again. We used to have a huge crew of them watching and liking and share us out there. And I'm just noticing some of our listeners today that are coming on. And now I've got BettyAnn McCloud on full HD on her Instagram feed. I was over here. I'm like, why does she look all cloudy? And we are like crystal clear. It's the intranet over here. So guys, we have BettyAnn McCloud. She is a branch manager for Lincoln Lending Group. BettyAnn actually is running our North Carolina branch, which just got opened about a week ago at Lincoln Lending Group. And BettyAnn, we're going to learn about where you're from. And I do suppose you're from the North Carolina area, Virginia, North Carolina. I'm just going to guess. But that's what she's going to do. And when the Virginia branch opens, she's going to be running that as well. So that's going to be super exciting. But before we get into stats, we're going to mention this event one more time, and then we're going to get you the address. I'm going to pull it up. And Ksenia is going to do our real estate stats with us so we can find out what the heck is going on in the market. All I know is I hear that the Fed's going to lower rates. So now I need to hear what's going to go on with the actual home sales. Ksenia from Mahar & Associates, take it away.
Okay, so for our June numbers, we're just going to run through the local metro area. So that's Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco, and Hernando. And as we mentioned last week, just sales across the board, transaction-wise, we're up 7.6%.
Ooh.
Which, yes, that's good news because we, didn't have a really busy spring season, just slower than we anticipated. Median sale price for the metro area is $410,000. The average sales price is almost $520,000, and median time to contract is 35 days. Month supply at 4.4, and new pending sales are up about just over 1%. But I mean, I'm still hoping that our closed sales for July are also going to reflect a bit more activity.
I mean, BettyAnn, what do you think about that? When I hear her statistics, I don't see the clickbait that I see all over online saying how Florida is going underwater and our values are going down. These are actual real numbers here. What's your thought on that market?
I think we are transitioning to a more stable, balanced market. I think there's a lot more opportunity out there for serious buyers that want to take advantage of it, even with an impending, rate drop coming, because when that does hit, you know what's going to happen.
Tell us what's going to happen because, okay, in all seriousness, you guys have seen my show for 10 years. You know I don't rehearse crap, right? I like coming in here and doing it off the cuff. Ksenia and I are very in tune, but we say something, which I think you're about to say all the time. Just say it. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, prices are going to go up, okay, because there really isn't that much inventory out there. They can't build them fast enough. And then you're going to see probably not the extent we did in 2021, but you're going to see a bit of a frenzy and people maybe overpaying, and all those seller concessions, they're going to say, nope.
Yeah.
So,
No, I completely agree. And even us saying this on the radio, so if we're talking about it, others are talking about it. So I think that we're going to see the impact even before September, comes around.
I completely agree. Now, Ksenia, as the real estate agent in the room, as the elephant in the room, tell us about, she's not an elephant. No, tell us about how does inventory impact price, and then I also want you to talk about seller concessions. I want you and BettyAnn, I need the consumers to understand what that means. But first, let's talk about how does this inventory, how could this affect the prices and the activity?
Well, I mean, right now, so when I say 4.4, people are like, what does that mean?
Right.
So essentially, it would take 4.4 months to sell all the current inventory if no other active listings hit the market.
Right.
I guess by metrics, 6 months is kind of where that metric used to be for it to be a truly balanced market. So even though right now some people are saying, it's such a buyer's market, inventory wise, it's really not. I think it's just because buyers have been sitting on the fence. Maybe it's just not super affordable because of interest rates. But even with that little bit of a drop, I think so many buyers that do want to buy are going to get out there. And you know what? Yeah, you'll see more competition, probably not to the level of, the COVID market we had.
Right.
But I mean, I could definitely see multiple offers, especially if sellers are following their agent's advice right now and pricing correctly. So if you're already aggressively priced and all of a sudden you see an uptick in showings and activity, you're going to have more offers. And yeah, essentially, it'll drive the prices up. Somebody's going to want to, I'll do 5,000 more. I'll do 10,000 more. And
now, what do we call that? That's like when they keep it's like a bidding war.
A bidding war,
right?
Yeah.
It's basically a bidding war in a house that you didn't put for auction, that you didn't mean for people to bid on. But like BettyAnn comes in and she likes this house and she's like, I'll give you $500,000 for it. But then you have somebody else come in behind her and you tell them, now you can't tell them what she offered, right? But you tell them, I'm sorry, we already have an offer. And then she says, well, I'm going to offer more. And then the other guy offers more. And next thing you know, this price just keeps going up.
Well, I also like what BettyAnn said, not just price. Right. Concessions, because right now we've been saying, hey, buyers, get out there. Sellers are negotiating. Let's negotiate you a great deal. Get some concessions, this, that. You know what? When there's multiple offers to choose from, the one with the least amount of concession requests is going to get it.
Now, what is a sales concession? Let's talk to somebody who's never bought before, and then BettyAnn, I want you to explain how does that matter for a mortgage?
Okay.
But
more often it's, down payment assistance,
Okay.
especially, with FHA loans. Oh, well, give me 3% towards my closing costs. It could also be, okay, well, I need $5,000 because I don't like the floor, so let's just credit that back.
Right.
Right.
So it's money. How does that help in the mortgage?
From the loan perspective, I think it always makes more sense if they go in with, let's say, a full price offer and ask for closing cost help, because we can take that money and save them dollar for dollar out of pocket. The difference between $500,000 and $495,000, the down payment is next to nothing. But if you got the seller paid closing costs, you're truly going to save yourself that actual amount out of your pocket, as well as using it to buy the rate down. Let's say we're hovering around 6.25 right now. We can take that extra money, buy that rate down permanently to make it more affordable. There's all kinds of strategies, and there's different loan programs out there. On an FHA loan, you can ask for 6% in seller concessions. VA, it's capped at 4% of value, but they can actually pay a little bit above that. And conventionally, with 10% down, 6%, but if you put down less than 10%, 3% is the limit.
I told you she had more knowledge than me. Now, with that, we are going to take a break here in a minute. When we get back, we're going to learn who is BettyAnn McCloud, where's she from, and then I promise you we're going to get back into real estate statistics. Actually, we'll probably do that as soon as we get back. We'll finish up our stats, and then we're going to learn who is BettyAnn McCloud and how does she have more knowledge than Frank the Bank. She might not make it out of this room. You never know. But I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Lots of great real estate news, lots of statistics from Ksenia and Mahar and Associates. Stay tuned. And don't forget, we are all over social media. Like and share our Instagram. We are try to be live at 11 o'clock every Tuesday for you. And we are a podcast, iHeartRadio, Disney. Who knows where we are? Find us online. We're everywhere. We'll be back in just a minute. I made up Disney.
Yeah, great.
I don't even think we're on Disney, by the way, guys. Just FYI.
I was thinking for smooth jazz, you could be a good smooth jazz
I love
DJ
jazz.
as well.
I love all music. The only thing I'm really not into is like rap or bluegrass.
Yeah.
I don't like bluegrass.
You have a very soothing voice.
How do you not like bluegrass? And you're from literally the bluegrass freaking capital of the world, not even like the country.
Well, I don't know. I like country music.
I
I like old country music.
Yeah.
Like I like George Jones, Loretta Lynn, Tammy Wynette.
Yeah, there was a bluegrass.
Welcome to the Business Happy Hour radio show with your host, Frank the Bank Cotto, the owner of Lincoln Lending Group right here in Tampa Bay for 23 years. Joined by his incredible co-host, Ksenia realtor with Mahara and Associates, Tampa's top real estate company. Together, they have helped finance and close nearly $1 billion of real estate every year. If you're looking for local mortgage or real estate advice, the Business Happy Hour team has been right here on News Radio WFLA for over a decade. Listen right here or find us on the Business Happy Hour YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram at Frank the Bank Cotto. Now sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious mortgage, real estate, and business talk with two of Tampa's top experts. Here's Frank the Bank and Ksenia.
Hey, Tampa Bay. I love how that says, and Ksenia.
I know. I don't need a last name.
I know.
That's good.
Ksenia Akishana. Actually, it's funny. And Ksenia, I think I've asked you this before. You're too young to remember Max Headroom, right? Maybe. She's like, MTV, like original MTV.
Yeah. Okay.
I know. James, she is way younger than you think, bro.
Yeah.
Why is that?
No, I'm just saying, because you didn't watch original MTV, right?
Yeah.
Now, BettyAnn, I know you watched original MTV.
I actually
I
remember
kinda
when
did.
it came out,
Yeah.
the first day it started.
Yeah. Music, video, television. People are like, what is this? This smut. It's on here. But it was like Carmen Electra and some of those old names.
I know
you heard.
Carmen Electra.
Right. Well, she basically started on that. And Kennedy.
Martha, what was her name with the dark hair? Martha.
Oh.
She was one of the DJs or
VJs.
VJs.
That's
DJs,
right.
yeah.
They called them video DJs.
Yeah.
Martha, yep, that's what it was. Quint? Is that what it was? Yeah. Quinn. Yeah. So you remember Max Headroom.
Yes.
Right? I don't even know what the hell Max Headroom is. I think it's like I would say it's an AI generated thing, but there's no such thing as AI back then. But it's like this computer generated dude. And I don't even know what he was like. He advertised on there. I don't know what exactly he did. For what? A virtual host. That's what. My God, you're telling me we had virtual hosts back in like.
How does James
90s?
know? He seems like way younger than me.
You're 37? Okay. Well,
wow.
all right. Well, I'm 46. And let's just put it this way. BettyAnn has more experience than me. All right. So let's get back to stats because I know our listeners, they text us, by the way. If we cut off stats or anything, we've got a couple. They're like, yeah, we were kind of interested in that. So, Ksenia, what else do we have for stats? And let's dial down on that. And then we're going to get to know BettyAnn McCloud a little bit.
Well, for our special listeners, so yeah, I saw that text and I thought that was a great question because we never really do get into like that part.
Yeah.
So the question was, about investor-owned properties, and he wanted to hear some stats on that. So we actually do have those available, but not in the manner which you think. So, I mean, I looked it up. I think nationwide, probably roughly 20% of single-family homes are owned by investors, oftentimes probably to rent out.
Okay.
In Florida, it's less. It's probably around 10%.
Interesting.
But in our stats that I don't normally talk about, that we get on a monthly basis, we see cash sales.
Okay.
Obviously, not all cash sales are for investors, but I mean, let's just say the majority.
Okay.
So, small portion might be fix and flip, but a lot of times even just, a family that wants to get a home that they're going to rent out for, investment income.
Yep.
So we do have those available.
Tell us. I'm very interested.
And I
See,
mean, we know
listeners,
this.
we listen.
I don't know if you would know because you deal with loans. So, back in our COVID market, if you saw the huge uptick, we definitely did.
Yes.
And this is the reason why I think, prices just skyrocketed. We had all those bidding wars. So let's see here.
See, a lot of that, I think, was a lot of that had to do with people, the state of Florida was a bit of an anomaly at that time because of the political climate. And we had people coming here that don't normally come here. And I always use California as an example.
Yeah.
In 20 years in the mortgage industries before COVID, I could have counted on one hand how many people came from California to Florida unless they were job transferred.
Right.
Right. I mean, you don't retire from California to Florida. You're already living in a retirement area. But COVID,
COVID started it all. So COVID started in 2020.
Yeah.
So in February of 2021, our cash sales were at 384. And I pulled only Hillsborough County.
Okay.
And that jump that I think all of us saw in June of 2021, that number nearly doubled. And from year over year, it went up by 161%.
Wow.
Whoa.
So, and that maintained. And actually, I went ahead and pulled the following year because we also felt the drop off.
Yeah.
Right.
But from June of 2021 through June of 2022, those numbers were nearly double than what we're used to for cash sales.
And did you go farther than that? Like, where have they gone now?
I've got it. Yes. I mean, right now we're back to normal. So in June of 25, there were 274 transactions that were purchased in cash in Hillsborough County.
Okay.
It's stayed relatively the same. But when you're like looking at the whole graph month over month, it's like you see, where the numbers are like, 100%, higher year over year. Obviously, the 161. I mean, in May of 2021, it was 196.5% higher year over year in terms of cash sales transactions.
My Lord, like 200% more.
Yes.
That's
so
crazy.
that was the huge uptick. I think around June of 22 is when we saw the interest rates take a nice, jump up. And then the end of that year was
That's not nice. I was thinking exactly that.
Well, I think at the end of October 22 is when it was really like the hype. But we're not there anymore. I mean, that's positive news, right? We're a lot lower than the 7 point whatever it was.
I mean, we touched 8%. Remember that, BettyAnn?
Yes,
We
I
literally
do.
touched 8%. I mean, she remembers more than I do. I'm going to mess with her all day long. But we hadn't seen rates like that seriously since the 90s. Right. And it hit. But and we've said this on the show before, the national 40-year average. Do you know what it is, BettyAnn?
I'm going to guess 7 to 7.25, maybe.
Pretty close. 6.75.
Oh.
A little better than what people would normally guess.
Okay.
That is your 40-year average of interest rate. So we're better than 6.75 now. I mean, what are you locking right now?
I locked 6.25 yesterday, and it also gave the buyer some premium back to help with closing costs.
Right. So that literally means that buyer got thousands of dollars given to them from BettyAnn and her lock, the way that she set it up, to help cover closing costs. So if a seller, for example, Ksenia is working with a seller and they're unwilling to give you closing costs, not in this market, they will, but BettyAnn has the ability to do that through the loan as well, which is a very interesting angle. Ksenia, did we have anything else on stats?
Well, his other question was related to closing costs. Like, why is it so much more expensive? Well, I think mostly it's relative to price.
I agree.
So if we're thinking prices were, half what they are now, so
third.
many of the closing costs are, ad valorem, meaning based on value.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that's a huge part of it.
Oh, look at that. She just told us what ad valorem means. Did you
Oh,
pick up on that?
Yeah, I did.
Based
that was
on
smooth.
value. That was smooth. So yeah, the answer to our listener's question is prices have gone up probably quadruple since you bought that house. So anything adjusted to the value is going to go up. But the other thing that's gone up, which I mentioned to him in the text, are fixed cost. Like, your appraisals used to be $250. Now they're over $600. A title closing fee used to be what, BettyAnn? $195.
Yeah. And now it's like $350 to $400.
Yeah. Someplace I'm seeing it like $695.
Yeah.
Right. So fixed cost went up. Things went up based on value. It's inevitable.
Well, everything went up. Do you remember how much more it cost to build a pool?
Oh my!
After COVID,
God.
I think like fences, like for lumber, just a lot of things happen. Everything's just more expensive now. Going to the grocery store is more expensive.
And I say it, and I'll wrap it up like this, and we're going to get into BettyAnn, is that supply chain, that whole crap that we heard during COVID and everything. If you're a business person and you're selling a widget for $3 and you're paying $1 for it, and the price goes to $2 and you sell it for $4 and the price goes back to $1, how fast are you going to drop that widget price? You're not, right? But here's the key. We are a wholesale brokerage. BettyAnn can get your wholesale rates. What you see on TV, if you Google it right now, that's retail garbage. Okay, I'm about to put a funny little anti-Bank of America post out. Probably going to get in trouble, but I'll do it as soon as I get off the radio. You guys will see a funny Lincoln smashing Bank of America because we do smash retail rates. If you are in the market right now and you are not talking to a wholesale broker, whether it's us, BettyAnn, anybody, you're doing the wrong thing because your rates are at least a point lower than what TV is telling you they are right now. By the way, you find Betty by giving her a call at 704-622-9878, or you can go to your email, which is
BettyAnn, no E, at lincolnlen.com.
That's very easy. So, how to say it? Good?
All good. Yeah, let's get into Betty.
Let's get into
Curious to know Betty more.
Yeah,
BettyAnn.
BettyAnn.
She told me earlier it's not Betty, it's BettyAnn.
She got you.
Gosh.
All right, that's one strike. All right. You get 3. All right, so BettyAnn, we know you're from somewhere with a nice Southern twang.
Yeah.
And I think I already spoiled some of it. But tell us a little about who you are, how'd you get into to mortgages and all that good stuff.
Okay. Well, honestly, I'm a Virginia girl, born and raised in Richmond, Virginia. My mother's from North Carolina, though. And I found my way to Charlotte, North Carolina as an adult later in life. But before I move into that, grew up in Richmond, graduated high school, and while I was going to college, I got into the mortgage business. Had an opportunity to work with some really cool, fun people that had been doing it forever, and some crazy stories about back in the day. Just to throw one out, I bought my first house in 1986.
Whoa.
FHA loan for $58,000.
Oh, my God.
And the interest rate was 9.5%.
You got a deal.
I was so excited. My payment was less than $600, but I didn't know how I was going to make it. And now, years later, people don't bat an eye at a car payment like for $800, right?
Yeah.
And I Googled that house not too long ago, and the Zillow, if we believe in Zillow, the value on that little 58.5 house was like $360,000 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
That's some old school stats there.
Those are very old school. But I love you said that because it puts it in perspective to people, on what rates were. You were happy at your 9-point-something interest rate.
Yeah. It was like single digits because I remember doing adjustable rate mortgages at 12%.
Yep.
Graduated payment loans, negative AM loans, fixed interest rates at 16 and 17%.
Yeah.
Calculating an APR on an old Brooks calculator.
Oh, my God.
The tape out of that thing would match a CVS receipt, okay? It was
Ksenia's
crazy.
like, oh, what?
No, that's a good analogy. I like it.
Yeah, well, you threw in the CVS. You brought her into 2020 or that one.
Yeah. But just a lot of fun, worked with some great people, and literally did everything backwards in the industry, from servicing loans to assumptions and payoffs. And then I got into closing. I closed some loans for a few years, and then I processed for about a year, and they said, you need to be an underwriter. So we'll talk about underwriting. I did that for 25 years.
Okay, well, when we get back, we're going to talk about underwriting, which I got to say is probably one of the most important aspects of the business, but one of the least glamorous aspects of the business. Those underwriters are the ones that take the punches, mostly from us. But we'll explain what that is, and we'll talk a little bit more about BettyAnn and her business, and I'm going to ask her to tell me about what her favorite product is right now when we get back on the Business Happy Hour. Stay tuned for more real estate talk.
25 years in
All right.
underwriting.
This is our last segment. It goes very fast, as you
Okay.
can see. We got a minute here. I did look up the address for the event, although there's a couple of them. Do you know if it would be the Trinity one or
It's
the
the
US
Trinity
19?
one.
It is the Trinity one.
Yeah,
And
I said Trinity location. I think it's on.
I found it.
I don't.
10015 Trinity Boulevard. Does that
One.
sound right?
Yeah, probably.
Trinity. Well, that makes it easy. So,
Yeah.
Trinity Boulevard. But I'm just going to tell them your phone number again, just to reach out to you and schedule it with you.
Yeah, that'd
That's
be
probably
good.
the best
That'd
way
be
to do it.
good.
And I'll put that in here for Instagrammers. We'll put the address for the event. So you
Was
guys
that
can
too
do it.
much in there that I talked about earlier?
Oh no,
Okay.
that was beautiful. So just she says you sound. Can you hear James? You can hear him, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll pick a product. We'll get back in. We'll bring you back. We'll reintroduce, and then you can kind of merge into talk about underwriting for a minute. It's a shorter segment. We got about 7 minutes.
Okay.
So when you get to halfway, about 3, I'll throw you a 3. When we get to 2, when we get to 1, let me kind of wrap if you're talking, and I'll bring us out.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Cool. You ready?
Let's get back to the Business Happy Hour radio show with your host, Frank the Bank Cotto, owner of Lincoln Lending Group, and his co-host, Ksenia Akishina, realtor with Mahara and Associates.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Business Happy Hour. Last segment, it's going fast. We learned about real estate stats. We learned about why prices are up. We learned about seller concessions and how they're good for you. We learned that BettyAnn does not like bluegrass, even though she's from the bluegrass capital of the world. That's right. And we've got shout out to Salvador Areola, one of the fastest guys on the track in the state of Florida, watching us right now live, hopefully not in trouble from school. Welcome back to school, boys. BettyAnn McCloud, let me give you your number again, because we did confirm that reverse mortgage intimate seminar, we're not going to fill the room, guys. 15 to 20 people max are going to be allowed at this seminar. It is going to be at the Trinity location of Wolinka and Wolinka Title. It is 10015 Trinity Boulevard, but the best way to register for this is to call BettyAnn herself, and that number is
704-622-9878.
That's it, 704-622-9878. Make sure you register. Again, it will fill up, and we will not let you in the door because we won't have any food for you. BettyAnn, we have had a great show learning about where you're from. You started talking about you went into underwriting, which is interesting because you went into the least glamorous, hardest probably part of the industry to learn with all those guidelines, but eventually you came out to the dark side of selling the mortgages.
I did. But you know what? I flipped the script on that, and I've had people try to get me to go back into underwriting and ops after I've been being in sales, and I'm like, no, I'm not going back to the dark side. I'll call that the dark side.
It is. Right? Because I know you like talking to people. You're a people person.
I am. And that's what's fun about this business. And even when I was in underwriting, I had loan officers and branch managers tell me, you need to go out there and sell loans, BettyAnn. You'd be really good at this, because back in the day, people couldn't talk to underwriters, and loan officers would call me up if something was on an approval they didn't understand, or they were upset because we had to suspend a loan for more information. And they were like, I don't know how to explain this to my client, and they're going to get upset. And I'm like, well, I'll call them. And that was unheard of. And I would pick up the phone and I would call the clients and introduce myself and explain what we needed and why, and we'd get it. But I was a single mom, raising kids, needed that salary. So when I left Florida the first time, I moved to Charlotte, loved it there, learned the area, and I decided I was going to originate, and I've never looked back. I love being on the front end, helping people, being part of their journey. I've done loans for whole families, from their first home to their vacation, investment, their step down, retirement home. And now I'm doing loans not just for the parents, but their children, and in a few cases, some of their kids too.
Oh, you listen, I didn't give her date of birth out, guys. All right. You've got me on that one. I'm on the kids. Yeah. I haven't made it to the kids quite yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, it will. And if you do the right thing and being a part of their journey, I can't imagine doing anything else. That's what gets me up in the morning. And even with all the stress and all the hoopla that goes into it, it's really about the people and about, doing the right thing for them. And 9 times out of 10, all of my clients become my friends. Like every one of them, I hope they're watching this. They're on my Instagram or my Facebook because they know me. And they know if they get an advertisement or anything from any other mortgage person, they always call me or reach out to me because they know I'm going to shoot them straight.
I love it. And I know you shoot everybody straight. There's no question. Ksenia, I don't know if you have any questions for Betty
Well,
Ann.
I think you're on the right side of the business, but I do wish that we had more underwriters like you. I have never heard of an underwriter calling anybody. I mean, even as agents.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, lenders,
even know
but
if
I
it's
thought
legal.
they live in the ether somewhere.
Right.
We just know that we cannot close a loan without getting an approval from the underwriter.
Right.
And that's like the big step.
And a lot of times people look at them as the bad guy, and they're not bad people. They have a job and they have rules.
It's about balance, right?
Right.
The underwriters are there to make sure if a loan can be made, let's make it so if it makes sense and we can sell it, and don't get the loan bought back. It's all about balance in the demands of production, but with the restrictions and the rules of the guidelines, right? And I used to coach and tell my underwriters, and I do this with loan officers that I've trained. It's about telling this story. If it makes sense, you can document it and put it together. The happy ending is we're going to have an approval. We're here to make loans, and that's what our business is. And you have to have a thick skin sometimes to be in this business. And as an underwriter, I would say, suit it up and put on your armor and go to work.
Well, you are very, very unique. I've got to say that I have met in 25 years a very small handful of originators who were underwriters, right? So for you to have that knowledge, that you know what the other side is looking for, that's I think your secret sauce. I mean,
It is.
let's be honest, your twang is probably really your secret sauce. Like you're going to win people over with that and your personality, but that knowledge, it's unmatched. And that means you know how to present the story to the underwriter because you've been on the other side.
Correct.
So we're not fighting them. So what's your favorite product right now? What do you think what makes you happiest to help clients with right now, or your favorite product? What do you like?
Well, I mean, there's just so many fun stories, but right now I think what I'm really excited about is getting into the reverse mortgage field. I think there's a strong need for that within our community because of the demographics, but I also really love the challenge of the first-time home buyers. They're so excited. It's such a happy, pivotal, big moment in everybody's life, right? Buying that first house. So those two things. But so many crazy, great products now we have. DSCR, debt service coverage ratio loans to qualify off the property rent. Bank statement loans are much needed for self-employed buyers. And we're starting to see a trend with a little no-income loans coming back, which can help some other self-employed buyers. The craziness of making loans to people self-employed with a 600 credit score and less than 5% down, those days are gone, I believe. But, and that's what happened and why we had our crash in 2008. But those are just a few of the things that I enjoy, putting the pieces to the puzzle. That's what it's really about.
And you are definitely a magician when it comes to that. That's why they call you the mortgage maven.
Yes,
Right.
I'll be your safe haven.
That's it. Hey, by the way, what's your social media things for if somebody wants to follow you?
Mortgage Maven 1 on Instagram.
Got it.
I also have Mortgage Maven 1 on Facebook, or you can just send me a friend request, BettyAnn McCloud.
There you guys go. That's the easiest way to get her. I'll give her number out again. It's 704-622-9878. Don't forget, you do want to register for that event. It's a small room, and I love that you are focused on the reverse mortgage because I agree with you more than anything is that we have a need for education about it. We are living in the retirement capital of the world. Mm-hmm. So many people are sitting on a gold mine of equity, and they're scraping right now. So you got to learn about it. You can go to reverseguru.com to watch some videos, and you go directly to BettyAnn McCloud, and she'll take care of that reverse mortgage for you and go meet you in person. Ksenia, great stats today, and thank you for answering our listeners' questions, especially about that investment stuff.
That
you
was
taught me
fun
something.
to switch it up a bit. Yeah, but BettyAnn, so nice to meet you. You are a wealth of knowledge.
Great to meet you.
She is. I tell you what, guys, if anything, it is you don't need to sell when you have experience. You can tell she has experience. She knows what she's doing, and she's an underwriter killer because she used to be an underwriter herself. So reach out to her whenever you need. You guys have a great week, and make sure you like and share and send this out there. And Ksenia and I will see you next week on the Business Happy Hour.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. All right. James, did we keep you excited that show?